Heyo. Ooh, I like this chill music. As you can see, I got my first crop top hoodie today. I love it. Cause like I need to learn to love my body. I currently don't. I don't even like my body. So I'm forcing myself to start trying to appreciate my body. Despite how it looks. And don't worry about anyone coming into my chat saying, "You fat," because like I know I am. So tell me something I don't know. It's okay. It shouldn't be, you know, thick. What's that word? Yeah, it shouldn't be used as something derogatory. But it shouldn't be used as a slur. Something to put other people down. Because like a lot of people can't. Yeah, you know. Hello.
Hello.
Streamer. Är du färdig än?
Yes.
Damn. Kan du gøre? Der falder nogle stykker ned.
Det var du håber på. Jeg kan ikke få den sidste.
Hvordan? Hvad?
Jeg lavede den stramt.
Hvordan? Hvordan har du tænkt dig for den? Technical issues, people.
Det var din chat på.
Jeg skal. Der er en masse her, der... Skulle det ikke hænge sammen, fordi der er en masse her, der er så til ikke at hænge sammen?
Jeg må have dig vendt noget stykker. Ingenting. Og så må du selv pille det fra.
Men alt ryger jo af nu.
Jeg skulle da helst ikke. Hun har ikke lavet den stram nok. Hun har overhovedet bundet den. Hun har ikke bundet den ret godt i hvert fald.
Er det mor, der har bundet den?
Japs.
Yeah, yo, wiggy, 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 yeah, yo, I don't know about Stella dog, AP got his groove back, big line pride, I ain't fucking with no loose cat, burning like smoke, yeah, the fuck, I ain't recoup that, lost my other half, don't know where she gon' regroup at, but fuck it, brand new shorty on my, Astral orgasms had her coming out on Venus. I hit it like Serena, her vibes a little meaner, her energy Selena. Wow, yeah. Whoa. And she on the way to me with some gelato type trees. And that's when AP hit the spliff in anguish. Wait until my demons get vanquished. Beautiful Nubian, grooving in her own energy. Just a Nubian, who being when you're ready, be. Baby, whisper all the wonders you was telling me. Came a long way from that Ami, they was selling me. Rolled in soul flavors, he gripped the joint like a baby wrist. Vibe is kinda different, but it's sexy like she knows she is. Only took a month, but she got back like where the groceries still. She don't need much like a baby's kid. Had me singing in the rain just like Ray J did. I don't know about Stella dog, AP got his groove back. Big lion pride, I ain't fucking with no loose cat. Burn it like smoke, yeah, the fuck, I ain't recoup that. Lost my other half, don't know where she gon' regroup at. I don't know about Stella dog, but AP got his groove back. Big lion pride, I ain't fucking with no loose cat. Lost my other half, don't know where she gon' regroup at. Burn it like smoke, you don't know how I can't recoup that. Shit, I said, have him on the roads, but I ain't trying to bring the noose back. We just trying to bring the truth back, yeah. While we fucking out these loose cats, yeah. I feel like Tupac, hey. Yeah, cause we gon' bring the juice back, yeah. Never lose that, yeah. Talk about the true fact.
And I was muted. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm back. My sister was making a thing for me, and it didn't go well. And that was kind of my mom's fault. Unintentional, still. And she'd spent like almost 3 days on it, my younger sister, so she was really sad and bummed out that it did not go well. Yeah. I had to take out that. But yeah, it says love. I got a chain here. Got a chain. Oh yeah. I hope you understand. Man, we'll be powering through the 5 chapters today. It's like it's always been blah, 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 blah. It's already been 30 minutes, so we'll be powering through today. Let's see how Queen Blaze reacts to meeting the Dragonette's destiny. Chapter 16. Oh wow, it's so exciting to meet you, Blaze said brightly. Where's the Skywing? Glory managed to keep her scales and face from showing any reaction. Skywing is dead, she wanted to yell. You're stuck with me instead. Deal with it. Glory is our 5th Dragonette, Clay said. He nodded toward her. Oh, Blaze said, regarding Glory with skepticism. But she's a Rainwing, and the prophecy calls for a Skywing, doesn't it? What prophecy? Jambu asked. What's a Dragonette of Destiny? Are you serious? Glory said to him. Do you know anything about what's going on out here? It's far too complicated to explain, Starflight said with a flick of his tail. There's a war going on, Clay said kindly, and a prophecy that says 5 Dragonettes will stop it, and that's us. Oh, Jambu said. Neat. Yes, far too complicated, Tsunami said to Starflight. The Black Dragonette frowned at her. It's a little more specific than that, Blaze pointed out. It says 2 of the Sandwing sisters will die, hopefully not me. And it says the 5 Dragonettes are a Mudwing, a Seawing, a Nightwing, a Sandwing, and a Skywing. We got a Rainwing instead, said Tsunami, and we're fine with that. There's also me, Sunny piped up, and the Sandwing, even though I'm weird looking. Blaze peered down at Sunny. Oh my gosh, you are weird looking. What's wrong with your tail? Why are your scales the wrong color? I don't know, Sunny said, spreading her wings. But I'm still the Sandwing in the prophecy. Are you sure? Blaze asked. She circled around Sunny, inspecting her. Wow, you all are not what I... Trying it again. Wow, you all are not what I expected. For one thing, you're smaller. I thought you'd be... I don't know. And I thought you'd be... I don't know. Prettier? She stopped at Glory. Except the Rainwing again? Explain the Rainwing again? Also, the other two Rainwings, why are they here? You should go, Glory said to Jambu. She glanced at Mangrove, who was shivering and tugging his wings around himself. Take him home. You're both going to freeze if you stay out here any longer. I'm sorry, Mangrove said to her. I thought... I know. We'll find her, but not here. Glory pointed south. Both of you go. We'll catch up soon. Jambu didn't argue. He was also shivering from wingtip to wingtip, and he looked especially glad to have an excuse to get away from Blaze. Where are they going? Blaze asked the two Rainwings as the two Rainwings listed off. Isn't the rainforest kind of far from here? You know, we actually have some questions for you, Starflight interjected. Like, can you tell us why you should be queen instead of your sisters? Because I'm prettier and nicer and friendlier than they are, Blaze said, obviously. She smiled and whirled in a circle, holding a blanket out so it flapped like a flag. I mean, haven't you met them? Aren't they both awful? Yeah, Clay said ruefully. Well, Starflight said, then caught the look on Tsunami's face. I guess they are. But could you survive a challenge? Tsunami asked. If you did become a queen, how long would you last before someone tried to take the throne from you? Ouch, Blaze said. That's kind of rude, isn't it? I'm a much older dragon than you. I've been in a battle, more or less. She flicked her poisonous tail back and forth. And I do have this deadly tail. So do all Sandwings, Tsunami said, unimpressed. Hey, how do you cure someone who's been scratched by a Sandwing tail? Sunny asked. I mean, say, by accident? She did a good job of sounding like she was just curious, but Glory knew she was thinking of webs. There's this cactus juice that heals our poison, Blaze said with a dismissive wave. Grows all over the desert. Once again, Glory thought she's not suspicious at all. Or worried about keeping Sandwings secret, apparently. Anyway, Blaze insisted to Tsunami, I'll have Queen Glacier to help me if anything goes wrong. Tsunami snorted. Glacier can't fight you in a challenge. Glacier can't fight for you in a challenge for the throne, Starflight said. She can't? Blaze said as if this was surprising news. Huh. Well, she can still come down and kill whoever's challenging me. She wouldn't mind. But that wouldn't be fair, Sunny said. That would violate all the challenge rules. Right, Starflight? He nodded, but Blaze was already talking over them. Who cares? She said. Don't even worry about it. I'll be such a great queen that no one will want to challenge me. There, that's an excellent plan. So, how does this prophecy thing work? Are you guys going to kill my sisters? That would make my life much easier. Glory lashed her tail. She hadn't thought of that. Killing off Burn and Blister? It was certainly one way to fulfill the prophecy. If they could do it, which seemed unlikely, considering armies of dragons had been trying to kill all of the sisters for 18 years already. Sunny looked taken aback as well. We're not hired killers, she said. We were thinking we'd tell everyone who we choose, and they'll all listen to us and stop fighting. Oh, said Blaze. That sounds nice. What's the power of Wings of Fire? How do I get that? These were all questions Glory had had about the prophecy her whole life, and yet she felt weirdly irritated to hear them coming from Blaze. As if the Dragonettes had all the answers. At the same time, it occurred to her to wonder why Blister, the smartest sister, hadn't asked these questions. Perhaps she knew the answers already, or perhaps she wanted someone to think she did. We're figuring it out, Clay said. It's not like we chose this, Glory said. We were sort of shoved into this whole destiny thing. You aren't, Blaze said, her voice light and puzzled. There's no rain-wing in the prophecy at all. Why don't you just go home? In the awkward pause that followed, Glory imagined all the other dragons having the exact same thought. Why didn't she just go home, where she could sit safely in the rainforest and stay out of the war and sleep all day? Maybe I should, she thought. I mean, it's not worth it. Is it worth it fighting for one of these 3 awful sandwings? Wouldn't it be easier to give in and accept that I'm meant to be a lazy ringwing? It was almost a relief to be distracted by a Nightwing assassin landing on top of the rock pile beside them. The others whipped around to stare at him, their tails lashing. Blaze squinted in a puzzled way. Oh, hello. Is he in the prophecy? She asked. He's cute. Cuter than this one. She waved a talon at Starflight's wounded expression. Why, hello, everyone, said Deathbringer. Isn't this a coincidence? I was just talking about you all this morning. He turned to Glory and tilted his head at her purple scales. Mystery Dragon. There's something different about you. Did you get your claws trimmed? Very funny, she said, baring her teeth at him. You could have told me you were one of the Dragonettes, Deathbringer said. I'd have asked for your autograph. I see now that you're a Rainwing, so Glory, right? That was creepy that he knew her name, even if she kinda liked the sound of him saying it. But it had to confirm her theory about him. Otherwise, why would he have bothered to learn it? Right, the one you were sent here to kill, Glory said. Somehow I think that would have started us off on the wrong. Somehow I think that would have started us off on the wrong talent. I'm not necessarily here to kill you, Deathbringer objected. And even if I were, it seems like a much better opportunity to kill her. He suddenly opened his front talons, revealing a pair of sharp silvery discs. Their edges gleamed like knives as he flung them one after the other right at Blaze. The Sandwing shrieked and stumbled back, dropping the blanket, but she didn't move fast enough. One disc embedded itself in her long neck, releasing a spurt of bright red blood, and that sprayed all over Sunny, who was standing next to her. The second disc sliced through the edge of one of Tsunami's wings as she leaped in front of Blaze. It ricocheted into one of the rocks with a ringing sound. Tsunami collapsed, clutching her injured wing. Sunny screamed, looked down at her blood-spattered scales, and screamed again. Clay jumped forward and clapped both his talons over the cut in Blaze's neck. Throw me the blanket! He yelled at Starflight. The Nightwing looked back at him in frozen terror. Glory grabbed the blanket and flung it to Clay, who started to wrap it around Blaze's neck. But then Deathbringer was there, landing on Blaze's neck and tossing Clay aside as if the hefty Mudwing weighed no more than a salamander. 2 more silver discs appeared in Deathbringer's talons. Glory leaped at the assassin and knocked him backward off Blaze. They rolled on the frozen ground, his black wings tangling with hers. He was very strong and astonishingly fast. A black pouch around his neck thumped against her chest, and she realized that must be where he kept his weapons. She seized it between her claws just as he pinned her down, his talons on her wings. Killing Blaze was your assignment, she said. Oh, no, but I like to work outside the box, he answered. And if I kill her, I figure it'll get me out of trouble. I'll be in. And if I kill her, I figure it'll get me out of the trouble I'll be in for not killing you. You can try to kill me, she growled, but I doubt it'll be as easy as you think. She ripped open the pouch and caught a few of the silver discs as they spilled into her claws. Several others clattered to the ground around her, but one was all she needed. She pressed it to Deathbringer's neck before he could jump away. You missed the biggest artery on Blaze's neck, she said. If I remember my dragon anatomy correctly, it's right here. She applied a little more pressure and Deathbringer flinched as the silver edge left a thin trail of blood on his scales. He lifted his talons from her shoulders and carefully backed off her. Glory stood up, keeping the disc poised at his neck, and glanced over Deathbringer's shoulder. Clay had the blanket tied firmly around Blaze's neck, but blood was already seeping through the camel hair fabric. The Sandwing Queen leaned against him, looking faint. Tsunami had also climbed to her feet and was examining the cut on her own wing with a scowl. Starflight hadn't moved. Sunny was still staring at the blood all over her talons and wings. Did I mention the part about how I don't actually want to kill you? I did mention the part about how I don't actually want to kill you, right? Deathbringer said, eyeing Glory and the discs she held with a faintly amused expression. I'm pretty sure I snuck that in here. I'm pretty sure I snuck that in there. Oh, alright, Glory said. I'll just trust you then, shall I? If you let me kill her, I can let you all go, he said. That should give you a fair head start before they send someone else after you, especially since no one knows where you'll go next. All of us? Glory said. You're here to kill all of us? No, he said, still smiling. Just a couple of you. Well, that makes me feel better, she said. Stop looking so pleased with yourself. She poked his head, and he tried and failed to look serious. Which couple of us? Sunny asked. Who's they? Tsunami demanded at the same time. Who sent you? The Nightwings, Starflight said bleakly. That's it, isn't it? Because of what happened in the Kingdom of the Sea? Because we didn't choose Blister. The Nightwings wanted us to choose Blister, Glory said as Tsunami whirled to stare at Starflight. Why would they care? I don't know, Starflight said. That's all Morosia told me, that we had to pick Blister, and I should convince you all to agree to it. That's so mean, Blaze interjected, opening her eyes and looking a bit more alive. Why should the Nightwings get to decide? They've never even met me. I'm awesome. Oh, that's why you were acting so weird around Blister, Clay said to Starflight. Deathbringer suddenly lunged forward, faster than a striking snake, and seized Glory's front talons. She thwacked his head as hard as she could with her wings and kicked at his underscales with her back claws. Oh, stop! He cried. It's like you want me to kill you. Just then, the sound of wing beats reached their ears. Glory and Deathbringer both froze and looked up at the sky. Quinkulatia! Blaze breathed with a relieved sigh. I knew she would save me. The glitter of diamond wings approaching from the north was unmistakable. The Ice Wings were on their way. End of chapter 16. Why did I? There, my water. Kaboom! So, Deathbringer was an assassin sent to kill the some of the dragonets. Huh. Well, he and Glory certainly have a thing from when they first met. They were both like, oh, they hot, they cute when they first met. Of course, none of them wanna admit that. Well, I think Deathbringer is subtly admitting it, that he actually kinda thinks Glory is kinda cute. But now Queen Glacier's on her way. Let's see how things go there, shall we? In chapter 17. Given a choice between the Icewing Queen and a Nightwing assassin, Glory wasn't sure she'd actually prefer the Icewing Queen. Imprisonment in the Sky Kingdom and in Queen Coral's Summer Palace had been bad enough. If they wound up in Glacier's dungeon, they'd probably all freeze to death by the end of the day. Let me go right now, she said to Deathbringer. To her immense surprise, he did. He stepped back, his talons raised to look harmless, and actually dared to smile at her. Time to go, Tsunami ordered. They'll be here in about 2 minutes. Oh, no, wait, Blaze said. She spread her wings and waved at the incoming ice dragons. You should meet Glacier. You'll like her. We can't leave Blaze here with him, Blaze said, pointing to Deathbringer. Okay. Water makes me yawn. I don't know why. That's true, Glory said. She narrowed her eyes at the assassin. You have 10 seconds to take off, or we'll knock you out and leave you for the Ice Wings to deal with. Shouldn't we do that anyway? Blaze asked. I mean, he did try to kill me. Queen Glacier will be so mad. This one time, a Skywing flew all the way here and nearly got me while I was getting some sun, and Glacier literally ripped off his wings before she killed him. It was really gross, but also kind of sweet, you know? Like, she really cares about me. Oh. Does Blaze have a crush on Queen Glacier? Aww, that's cute. Or she really cares about all the land she'll get if you become queen, Glory thought. Sunny looked faintly sick. Guess what I don't want to see, she said. One dragon ripping the wings off another dragon. Not ever, thanks. Alright, I'm convinced, Deathbringer said, backing up. But you should really have let me kill her. He paused with his wings spread and gave Glory a cheeky grin. So when can I see you again? Get out of here, Glory said, glad that Jambu wasn't there to loudly interpret the colors that were trying to shift through her scales. Deathbringer bolted into the sky. Blaze followed him with her eyes for a moment, then seemed to lose interest. She turned to Clay and Tsunami with a winning smile. Please don't go, Blaze said. Queen Glacier will be so grateful to you for saving my life. Now we can have that party I mentioned. Sorry, Tsunami said. We are not sticking around to become captives again. We'll be in touch, Clay said. Keep applying pressure to this until Hilo can look at it. Blaze rallied herself to stand upright and give them all a little nod. It was delightful to meet you, she said, even if you are missing a Skywing. And some of you are a little funny looking. I promise you'll be pleased if you choose me. She waved a wing weakly in the direction of the desert. I can offer you whatever land you want. You could each have land enough for a palace of your own. Quit giving away your territory, Glory snapped. I know the Kingdom of Sand is big, but life in the desert is tough, and and your subjects need every oasis. And if you do become queen, you'll need to rebuild your treasury somehow, so remember that too. Queenly advice from a brainwing, Blaze giggled as if the pain in her neck was making her loopy. Now I have heard everything. Glory frowned at her, but the Sandwing didn't seem to notice. Come on, Clay said gently to Sunny, urging her up. Sunny held her blood-stained talons out, and Starlight jumped forward to take them between his. You'll feel better once we're out in the desert, he said. Don't let them follow us, Tsunami said to Blaze as the others took off. They'll be too busy rescuing me, Blaze said, lying down in a graceful, melodramatic pose. Glory and Tsunami exchanged eye rolls and lifted into the air. The ice wings were almost upon them. They had to fly as fast as they could. Tsunami faltered for a moment as she went aloft. Does it hurt? Not Clay. Does it hurt? Does it hurt? Glory asked, flying closer to her. Will you make it to the passage? I'll be fine, Tsunami said through gritted teeth. It's just a cut. After a moment, she added, but yes, it hurts. Glory stayed alongside her so they flew through the cold, pale blue sky. Whew, that was a mouthful. She glanced back several times, but saw no signs of ice wings in pursuit. No sign of a nightwing trailing after them either. Glory, Tsunami said after a bit, can I ask you something? Why didn't you use your venom on that assassin? Glory felt a tinge of embarrassed pink creeping along her scales and fought it back until she matched the sky. That wasn't an invitation to disappear, Tsunami said. I just don't feel like killing him. Glory answered, I don't want to kill any more than I have to. But he is literally on a mission to kill you, Tsunami said. Killing him first is kind of the definition of self-defense. Maybe, Glory said. I don't feel like he was actually trying to kill me. Tsunami shook her head. Alright, but so you know, from where I was standing, it certainly looked like it. Whatever, Glory said. We'll probably never see him again. The real question is why the Nightwings are getting so involved. First they tried to get us to choose Blister, and then they send an assassin to kill us. Don't they want their prophecy to come true? Maybe, like everyone else, they only want it to come true their way, Tsunami grumbled. What's their way? Glory wondered. What difference does it make to them who the Queen of the Sandwings is? I have no idea, Tsunami admitted. Well, if they have something to say about this war, Glory said, they can come on out and fight it instead of hiding and making vague predictions every few years. And sending assassins, Tsunami added. Cowards. It wasn't often that Tsunami and Glory agreed about something. Glory couldn't remember the last time they'd had a conversation this long without arguing. It wasn't that she disliked Tsunami. She didn't even really mind her bossiness. But she did feel like someone needed to talk back whenever Tsunami started acting like the boss of everyone. Just to make sure Tsunami's head didn't get too big for the rest of her. On one talon, Tsunami had been much better since their escape from the Kingdom of the Sea. Glory could see that she was trying to include the others more, instead of just telling them what to do. And Tsunami never talked about her future as a queen anymore, when it used to be her favorite topic of conversation. Maybe she'd meant it when she said she didn't belong in the Kingdom of the Sea. Maybe she'd really given up on ruling her tribe one day. In the dark. It was dark by the time they spotted Burn's stronghold in the distance, and the semicircle of cacti they were looking for. Glory and Tsunami spiraled down to the ground and found Starlight frantically digging in the sand. The hole is gone, he cried. It's disappeared. A bolt of green panic shot through Glory's scales. Trapped between the ice wings and burned with an assassin out hunting them, was not how she wanted to spend the night. It's not gone, Clay said firmly. Let me dig. He muscled Starflight aside, looked up at the cacti, and started to dig in a slightly different spot. What are you doing? Tsunami called to Sunny, who looked like she was trying to tangle with the cactus up the hill. You have what Blaze said, Sunny panted. If we take this back, maybe we can heal webs. Ouch! She flinched back from the thorns, shaking her front talons. We don't need the whole cactus, Tsunami said, amused. Break off one of those arm things and bring that instead. That's what I'm trying to do, Sunny said, Irritatedly. I don't know that word. Who uses that word? Irritatedly. Tsunami floundered up the sandy rise to help her. Glory noticed that Tsunami had used sand to rub off some of the bloodstains, but there was still dark, dried blood caught between her scales and talons. There, Clay said. Found it. He swiped some more sand away from the entrance to the tunnel. Starflight laid out his breath. Oh, he said. That must be why no one spotted it before. The wind covers it with new sand every day. He edged toward the tunnel. So, can we go? Glory checked the sky again as Sunny and Tsunami slid back toward them with a chunk of cactus. No dragons anywhere that she could see. She nodded at the tunnel and Starflight darted gratefully inside. The others followed one by one. Glory went last, piling up as much sand behind her as she could. As she came out of the tunnel into the dark forest, a ball of fur exploded from the tree above her and landed on her neck. The sloth wrapped her arms and legs around Glory's neck and began warbling and chirping furiously. I think I'm being scolded, Glory said to Clay. She reached up and smoothed Silver's fur. Rrrr, said the sloth sternly, snuggling in closer. Sunny dove into the stream above the waterfall, washing Blaze's blood off her scales. Glory realized that Jambu was gone, but Mangrove was sitting beside the stream. His wings drooped as he stared into the water. I assume you didn't see any sign of the missing wings there, Glory said to him. He shook his head. Nothing anywhere in that fort. I slipped in when the control of Sandwings came out. I searched the whole place. He kicked a clump of reeds. Useless waste of time. Probably, Glory said, but at least now we know. How are we going to find Orchid? He asked. Glory stared at the hole in the boulder. In the dark, with only a sliver of moonlight slipping through the trees, it looked like a mouth, jaws wide open to swallow Dragon's soul. We heard something here a couple of nights ago, she said. Maybe if we lie in wait, we'll catch it again. She turned and looked at Tsunami. All we need is someone who can see in the dark. End of chapter 17. Ooh. Well, that went fairly well, I'd say. They found out how to cure webs, and they got the cactus back with them. They found the hole again. Blaze is not dead, and yes, Glory kinda has a crush on Deathbringer, which is why she didn't kill him, I think. It's like when I was reading, I also thought, shoot venom at him. Come on. You got a chance. But she didn't, so yeah, my theory about her having a crush is confirmed, I think. Deathbringer didn't kill anyone, thankfully. And they're back in the rainforest. And now we're hopefully going to figure out what the hell that sound was from last time. What the hell happened when Clay and Glory were there a few nights before, and that weird sound thingamajig happened. I couldn't see anything. Glory shifted on her branch and sighed. The night clung. Chapter 18, by the way. The night clung to her wings like hot, sticky cobwebs. A vine of moon-colored flowers nearby filled the air with a smell like muskrats rolled in lemons. Oh, this is a good time. It was not pleasant. You didn't have to stay, Tsunami whispered. Yes, I did, Glory said. I know you. No matter what you see, you leap out of the tree and attack it if you're here by yourself. Tsunami paused. Well, I might still do that. Then at least I'll be here to help, Glory said, grinning in the dark. They crouched like that for a while, listening to the creaking, chirping sounds of the rainforest at night. Some kind of insect was desperately announcing the end of the world in a shrill whine from the top of the tree. If Glory had been able to see it, she would have eaten it in a heartbeat just to shut it up. Damn. They'd spent the rest of the last night and today in the Rainwing village, recovering from their last fight. From their long flight. Sunny had squeezed the cactus juice into Webb's wound and reported jubilantly that she thought it was working. The others had stayed there for the night. Gloria thought it was unlikely that they'd catch the mystery monster on their first night watching. And they looked pretty exhausted. She also made Mangrove promise to not follow them again. And she'd left Silver with Sunny because the only thing they knew for sure was that the monster ate sloths. What did you think of Blaze? Tsunami asked in a whisper. Should we choose her? I don't know, Glory whispered back. I didn't really like her. Did you? She really needed to shut up about She really needed to shut up about Skywings, Tsunami said. Glory couldn't agree more, but she was glad Tsunami had said it instead of her. She seemed much less sinister than Burn and Blister, Glory said, but also completely incompetent. Is it fair to give the Sandwings a totally useless queen like that? And she's certainly not going to win the war just by saying she should. That's true, Tsunami said. She'd never survive in actual combat, especially against one of her sisters. Anyway, Glory said, it's not up to me. You guys decide whatever you want. I mean, since I'm not in the prophecy anyhow, and so I shouldn't get a say. Stop talking like that or I will thump you, Tsunami said in a loud hiss. Glory could feel her glaring even in the dark, and she felt obscurely pleased. Shh, Glory said, flicking her tail at Tsunami's wings. What was that? Snap! Both dragons froze with their heads lifted. Glory's ears twitched. Snap! Slither! That's it! Glory whispered. Her heart was pounding again. She tried to squint through the darkness at the boulder, but she couldn't see anything moving. The sound of something large rustled through the undergrowth. It was breathing heavily, snuffling in and out like a congested rhinoceros. It didn't come out of the hole, Tsunami whispered. It's on the other side of the creek, near the other tree, but I'm not sure. She leaned forward, trying to see under the branches. Suddenly another noise reached them, as if from a long way away. It sounded like whistling. Gloria leaned forward, listening intently. It was the Dragonette song, the one she had last heard when the prisoners were singing it in the Skywing Arena. The Dragonettes are coming, they're coming to save the day. They're coming to fight But I know what's right, the dragonets. Someone was whistling their song. That is coming from the hole, Tsunami whispered. She crouched to peer through the leaves. A dark shape appeared at the opening of the boulder. At the same time, the dragons heard thumping and crackling as the mystery creature fled back into the forest. Glory cursed under her breath and leaped to her feet. Should we go after it? But Tsunami had already launched herself out of the tree and flung herself at the boulder. She collided with the shape there, and they both yelped with pain, rolling and grappling on the ground. Sorry, reading forward again. Glory sprang after her and seized the new dragon's tail. The three of them wrestled until Glory and Tsunami had him pinned down and Glory could sit on his chest. She was not particularly surprised to discover it was Deathbringer. The Nightwing had sand between his claws and an unrepentant expression on his face, from what she could see in the ripples of moonlight that made it through the leaves overhead. What kind of assassin stalks his prey and whistles at the same time? Glory asked him. We should kill him right now, Tsunami hissed. You scared a monster away, Glory said, poking his snout. So now we're extra mad at you. Yes, that. Plus trying to kill us, Tsunami said. What monster? Deathbringer said, a little too innocently. Tsunami peered at him with growing suspicion. Did he know something? Did you follow us through the tunnel? She asked, or did you already know it was there? How would I know it was there? He asked. That's what I'd like to know, she said. Let's take him back to the village and interrogate him. Tsunami said, I don't think that's safe. Glory said, I mean, for the Rainwings, or for the others. We should keep him as far away from everyone as possible. Tsunami wrinkled her snout, thinking. Or, she said, we go back to plan A. Kill him right now. Tsunami, I don't think you want to do that any more than I do, Glory said. That shut her up. Glory had noticed Tsunami getting queasy about killing other dragons after her experiences in the Skywing arena. Self-defense was one thing, but they had Deathbringer trapped under their talons. Alright, Tsunami said finally after a long pause. You're right, I don't want to, but I was hoping he'd think we wanted to, so good job backing me up on that. Sorry I couldn't read your mind like a stupid Nightwing, Glory said. Speaking of which, are you the mind-reading kind of Nightwing? She narrowed her eyes at Deathbringer. What am I thinking right now? That I'm much too charming, clever, and good-looking to kill? He guessed. That was actually a little closer to accurate than Glory liked. She flared her ruff and poked his snout again. Wrong, she said. I'm thinking that you're starting to be an awful lot of trouble. Have you decided to kill me after all? The rakish grin faded from Deathbringer's face. He studied her as though he was seriously considering the question. Not sure I like the length of this pause, Glory said. I've been wondering if there's an alternative, he said. But that's not usually my call. Whose is it? Tsunami demanded. The Nightwing Queen? Deathbringer made a peculiar expression which Glory couldn't interpret. I can't say that. I don't understand why any Nightwing would want me dead, Glory said. That has become even ever more mystifying to me as well, Deathbringer said, in a manner that managed to sound both gallant and truthful. You're so You're so... Blah, 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 blah. Trying that again. So you're mystified, Glory said, but you'll still probably do it. I wouldn't say probably, Deathbringer offered. I'd say maybe. I wouldn't call that reassuring, Glory shot back. I'd call that the opposite of reassuring. Oh my gosh, I am so getting Virgil and Roman vibes from this conversation. Like the way they talk back and forth. Like their banter. I'm getting a feeling that this has just turned into banter. And not actually, like, hates. Like, them liking each other. Not liking each other, just banter. Feels like. He grinned at her again. He really needed to quit doing that. It was very distracting. So what do we do with him? Tsunami asked her. We can't let him go, and we can't take him back to the Rainwing village. We could tie him up, leave him in the forest, and hope a monster eats him, Gloria said. She squinted at Deathbringer's face. He didn't look even a little bit worried. Did we mention the monster? She asked him. It's been abducting or possibly eating Rainwings around here. I bet I'll be pretty excited to find you all tied up. Oh no, Deathbringer said. Please don't leave me alone where a monster could get me. Gloria opened her mouth and then closed it. She'd just had a possibly brilliant or perfectly terrible idea, one she'd have to think about for a minute. She poked him in the snout again. Was that sarcasm? She asked. Tsunami, did that sound weirdly sarcastic to you? Like he doesn't believe in monsters, Tsunami said. Which I'm not sure I do either, just for the record. Or he's in cahoots with it, Glory thought. Or at least he knows what it is and isn't afraid of it. She decided not to say this out loud. Tsunami's enthusiasm for interrogation might spring up again, and Glory was fairly sure it would be a waste of time. They weren't going to get anything useful out of Deathbringer by looking fierce and demanding answers. Besides, now that a plan was forming in her mind, she wanted to try it out, which meant she had to get rid of Tsunami. Let's drag him away from the tunnel and tie him up, she said. And you go tell the others, and we can take turns watching him until he decides to tell us who wants us dead and why. And which of us, Tsunami suggested. He said he was sent to kill a few of us, not just you. And also, you know how to avoid it, said Glory. You'll have to wait a while, Deathbringer said. I'm not allowed to tell you anything. Tsunami and Glory ignored this. They ripped vines down from the trees and wrapped the strongest ones around his wings. Tsunami tied his talons together so he couldn't run, slid a rope around his neck, and prodded him ahead of them into the forest. After a short walk, they found a tree that Tsunami approved of and tied him to it with the tightest knots they could muster. He'll burn through these vines the moment we walk away, Tsunami pointed out. So we don't walk away, Glory said. You go tell the others. I'll sit here with my extremely deadly secret weapon pointed at him. What's that? Asked Deathbringer. Wait, let me guess. Your rapier wit. Try to escape and find out the dead way, Glory offered. He leaned back against the tree, looking perfectly comfortable and thoroughly uninterested in escaping. Peculiar dragon, Glory thought. Send back Clay first, Glory suggested to Tsunami. He can take the next watch. I hope you hear how bossy you're being, Tsunami said. I'm letting it slide for now, but I'll remember this. Go away. Glory flapped her wings at her until the sea wing lifted off into the darkness. As the wing beats faded, the night sounds of the rainforest settled over them. An orchestra of insects warbled and chirped away as the trees rustled. Night birds called, and frogs muttered in the background like a disgruntled audience. It's so noisy here, Deathbringer said after a moment. So alive. Is it not like where you come from? Gloria asked. It's a lot quieter in the Ice Kingdom, he pointed out. And the Kingdom of Sand. He didn't say anything about the Nightwing home, but she didn't really expect him to. She stared into the trees, thinking hard. Once Clay arrived to take her place, she could slip away. No one would notice she was missing for a while. She could go out and look for the monster by herself, which was the best way to do anything if you asked her. Don't do it, said Deathbringer suddenly. You better not be reading my mind, she said. I don't have to, he said. You have I'm about to do something stupid written all over your face. I'm not stupid, she said. It's quite clever, and it might be the only way to catch the monster. Maybe you should leave the monster alone, he said. Forget about it. Go back to the prophecy-fulfilling business. That stopped her for a moment. The prophecy, putting an end to the war, was important. Finding a few rain wings hardly compared. But she'd made a promise. I'm not even in the stupid prophecy, she said. I know, he said. But I bet you'd still be remarkably good at making it come true. That doesn't make any sense, she said. And the rain wings are my tribe. They need my help. She felt a burst of certainty in her chest. I have to do this on my own. Wait, said Deathbringer with a gratifying note of alarm in his voice. Why? You have friends. Let them help you. Glory shook her head. They can't help me with this. The monster or whatever is out there isn't going to approach a group of dragonettes. It attacked rainwings who are out in the forest alone. So you're... Glory smiled at Deathbringer. I'm going to use myself as bait. End of chapter 18. This is actually really comfortable. This crop top. It's the only one I own. Got it today. If I didn't already say that. I love these, like... Just love, by the way. I say love. Love, love, love. Love, 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 love. You know, like love instead of lies from... Yeah. A New Year of Lying to Ourselves. Sanicides episode. Season 1. I'm too much of a founder. Sorry. You'll be getting a lot of Sanicides references and talk and all that jazz. Like, when I said Roman and Virgil banter, it was that I meant. Oh well, I guess that's sort of like how fanon Virgil and Roman is. Because, like, after the end of season 1, they kind of stopped that. And now it's sort of Logan and Roman. Hadn't even thought of that. I'm sorry. I'll continue now. Chapter 19. Watch him carefully, Glory instructed Clay. Don't let him talk. Oomph! Deathbringer complained through the vines she'd tied around his snout. She didn't want him spilling the beans to Clay before she could get away into the forest. Also, she'd gotten sick of listening to him yamming all night long trying to derail her plan. This way, she'd been able to watch the sun rise in relative peace and quiet, shortly after which Clay had shown up. No worries, Clay said. I'll just sit here and be my usual intimidating self. He threw back his shoulders and tried to scowl. Absolutely terrifying, Gloria assured him. Deathbringer managed to look skeptical despite the vines obscuring most of his face. I'll send someone else soon to take the next watch, she said, backing away. First, I'm going to catch a monster. It wasn't that stupid a plan, no matter what Deathbringer said. A lone rainwing was exactly the target the monster would go after. And she couldn't risk enlisting another rainwing as bait. They were all too dopey to be in any use, even Mangrove. Besides, as far as she could tell, she was the only rainwing willing to use her venom on other living things. It wasn't her favorite thing to do, but it was still a weapon, a powerful one that few dragons knew about. And she was sure she could use it to escape any situation if she had to. She headed back to the tunnel first. She was still certain that it was connected to the missing rain wings, although she couldn't figure out how. It started with a question: who had put the tunnel in place? And then, what was their plan? Steal a rain wing here and there? Why? Glory nosed around the forest near the tunnel opening until she found a clearing where she could sit and think for a moment. Ben seemed like an obvious suspect, since her stronghold was not far from the tunnel, but Glory had seen the look on Burn's face as Glory's venom sizzled on Queen Scarlet's face. It was still terror. It was pure shocked terror. The Sandwing Queen had clearly never seen anything like Glory's venom before. If she were the one abducting Rainwings for the past year, surely she'd have heard about their training session, and she'd know all about it. Glory stopped at a small bush and sprayed it with her venom. Black goop spattered over the leaves, and almost immediately the whole bush wilted, shriveled up, and died. Glory tilted her head at it, feeling weirdly guilty. Maybe she could practice her aim while she waited for the monster to attack her. She chose another bush with long dragon-tailed leaves and tried to hit just one of them. Half the bush went whoosh and melted into the grass. Gloria said aloud. Not awesome. She tried again and again. The clearing was starting to look a bit worse for wear. Gloria stopped and smacked herself with her tail. Try using your brain for half a moment, Glory. If she made a mess like this with her venom practice, then surely the other training dragons would have too. So even though Bromelaid wouldn't show her where Kinkajou had disappeared, there was a chance Glory could find it on her own. She started at the waterfall and circled out from there, walking so she could study the bushes as she went past them. Fat, spiny frogs stared at her, making wurgle-work noises in her throat. A pair of red and gold birds with large beaks followed her for a while, gossiping loudly in what sounded like garbled dragon language. But she found nothing, no signs of venom anywhere, maybe the training sessions had been in a whole different part of the forest. Maybe the secret tunnel really had nothing to do with the abductions. Gloria stubbornly kept searching. What other reasons could there be for the tunnel? Who would need to get quickly between the desert and the rainforest? No one. No one came to the rainforest at all. And the rainwings certainly never left. But the wall is closer than I think, she thought. It's right on their doorstep, ready to fall through into their peaceful world. She glared up at the treetops as an image of Queen Magnificent flashed through her head. And what is that useless queen going to do about it? Blaze is no better than Magnificent. If we pick her, we leave the Sandwings as weak and vulnerable as the Rainwings. She looked up at the trees again. Was it getting darker? The sun had been up for only a couple of hours. A fat raindrop splattered against her snout. The leaves above her whooshed like dragon wings as the wind rushed through them, and more rain came pattering down in scatters and sprays. Glory drew her wings closer to her. Rain probably washed away any trace of venom training days ago, she realized, but she kept going. Sudden undergrowth squelching below her talons. She found herself in a small circle where the trees above bent together to form a kind of umbrella canopy, keeping the ground below relatively dry. She stopped there, stretching and shaking her wings. This is stupid, she told herself. I'm not going to find anything, and I'm not going to get caught by anything in this weather either. What kind of creature would be out hunting in the rain? She might as well head back to the village and dry off. But as she turned to fly away, she spotted a dark patch on a bush of pink flowers beside her. Glory paused, then edged closer and peered at it. Several of the leaves were withered and dead, looking sickly black and twisted. A glossy pattern of dark droplets had hardened on the ground under the bush. Someone was training here, Glory thought. Maybe Kinkajou. Maybe one of the other missing dragons. She poked the pile of leaves that covered the ground and found half a talon print in the dirt. A small one, even smaller than Sunny's. She leaned down to sniff at it, and that was when someone bashed her on the head, on the back of her head. Glory started awake to the feeling of movement and something uncomfortable pressing against her wings. She kept still for a moment with her eyes closed, trying to figure out what was happening. It felt like she was being dragged along the ground. Her left side was unpleasantly damp and slimy, as if she were wrapped in something that instantly soaked up the mud and clung to her scales. Rain was splattered around her. Rain was splattered around her. The sound muffled by whatever she was in, a giant sack of some kind, she guessed. Her wings were bound to her sides, and thick cloth was wrapped around her claws. More stubbornly, some kind of vine or rope was tied around her snout, binding her mouth shut, which meant using her venom was out of the question. It also meant that whatever had caught her wasn't just a mindless mystery beast. It was smart enough to tie her up. It probably knew about her venom. Or it might just be wary of her teeth. Her tail whacked against something solid and she winced. She cracked open her eyes and only saw darkness. No, wait, not total darkness. Faint green light filtered through the thick canvas around her. The sack pressed close to her snout. It smelled like dead animals and rotten eggs and fire, overwhelming the damp leafy scent of the rainforest outside. Glory tried to listen for clues, but all she could hear was wet slithering, which might just be the sack sliding over the forest floor. Then a shiver ran down her spine, like sharp claws scrabbling to escape. She recognized the weird prickle under her scales. It was the feeling she got from the hole that led to the Kingdom of Sand. I was right, she thought. They were taking me to the tunnel. Somehow, without her venom, she didn't feel quite as triumphant about being right as she'd hoped. She heard splashing, and a moment later, water soaked through her sack as she was dragged through the stream. A couple of grunts followed, and Glory felt herself lifted up into the air, then dropped onto cold stone. Something shoved at her tail, and she started to slide down and down as if there was slick ice below her. Wait, she thought with a sickening truth. Lurch. The tunnel to the desert doesn't go down. Where am I? She smacked into a wall and slid around a corner, picking up speed again. This isn't the hole to the Kingdom of Sand, but it feels like that hole. So, is this the same kind of passageway ripped into the world where it shouldn't be? And where does this one end? She tumbled suddenly into open space and slammed into a pile of thin furs, which did not do much to blunt the impact of the rocks underneath them. Glory lay there for a moment, trying not to groan. Every bone in her body ached. Every scale felt as though it had been scraped raw. She was pretty sure she'd bitten her tongue when she landed. She could taste blood in her mouth. The smell of death and smoke was stronger now, and it was no longer raining, but there was hardly any light coming through the sack. This was definitely not the desert. It was chilly instead of blazingly warm, although the sound of a fire crackled somewhere nearby. Sorry. Too much lyrics. Too many lyrics. Too pronounced lyrics. There. Sorry, gonna change the music again. There we go. This doesn't. Okay, where did we come from? Where did we go? Where did we come from? Naito. This was definitely not the desert. It was chilly instead of blazingly warm, although the sound of a fire crackled somewhere nearby. Glory could hear a distant rumble like faraway thunderclouds, except that it felt like it was coming from below the rocks instead of up in the sky. Heavy feet thudded down beside her, and something snuffled loudly around the sack. Its breathing sounded the same as whatever had eaten the death sloth the other night. Glory clenched her talons. Was it planning to eat her? Because it was never quite a surprise if it... Another one, said a disapproving voice. The snuffling hitched for a second, as if startled, and then a hoarse voice beside Glory's head said, "Yeah, easy catch. She was all alone in the forest. Stupid like all dragons. Stupid like all rain wings." Dragons, Glory thought, relief warred with fury. They're just dragons, nothing mysterious and creepy. Apart from the basic mysterious creepiness of kidnapping other dragons, that is. Well, I can handle a couple of creepy dragons, just as soon as they take the sack off of me. She flexed her claws, wondering if she could rip through the cloth around them. "Didn't you get the message?" said the first dragon. "Yeah," said the one with the garbled breathing. "But I like to prey in the rainforest. And I was hungry. And then this dragon was just asking to get caught. Besides, I thought his message was stupid." "It's not stupid if it keeps us safe," said the first dragon sighed. "Throw her in with the others. But from now on, do as you're told." Yeah, grumbled the second dragon. "Alright, I got it. No more hunting or grabbing dragons in the rainforest until Deathbringer says it's all clear." "I'm sorry, what?" End of chapter 19. I'm sorry, what? So he does have telepathy. I think. Maybe that. Because he met Glory and was like, okay, yeah, she kinda cute. Maybe we should stop kidnapping Rain Wings. Maybe. So he like sent a message to the others, whoever these are, and was like, yeah, hey, stop kidnapping Rain Wings, thanks. That's my theory so far. We'll see in the next couple of chapters. We have one chapter left for today, so we might not find out right now, but stay tuned for Wednesday, and we might find out. I haven't read it, so I'm excited! Chapter 20. Glory had never been so glad that her scales were hidden. There was no way she could stop the colors flooding through them. She couldn't even guess what they were turning to right now. Deathbringer did know who was taking the missing Rainwings. He was connected to them. And somehow he had told them to stop until it's all clear. What did that mean? Until he'd finished killing the Dragonettes? Or until Glory and her friends stopped snooping around the tunnel? And how did he get a message to these dragons? Glory had left him in the Ice Kingdom and then caught him coming out of the desert tunnel into the rainforest. He'd said he followed the Dragonette to the hole in the sand, but maybe he'd known about it before. Maybe he'd gotten it there first, gone through to this place, warned these dragons, and then gone back to the desert tunnel after the Dragonettes were back in the rainforest. But Glory remembered that Deathbringer had conveniently appeared just in time to stop them from catching the creature in the dark. He did that on purpose. He was warning off the other dragon, this one with the weird breathing. This one with the weird breathing. Deathbringer knew we would catch him. Maybe he wanted us to catch him. Her tail curled. My friends are alone with Deathbringer. I have to get back to them. I have to get back right now. She flung open her wings and lashed her tail, clawing at the sack frantically. Whoa! Yelled the hoarse voice. A little help here! Glory's heart sank at the sound of footsteps and wing beats. There were a lot more than just 2 dragons out there. She kicked out blindly, fighting as hard as she could, but talons grabbed her from all sides, pinning her to the ground. You'll never get her there like this, gasped one of the dragons. You'll have to suck her out again. My pleasure, said the hoarse voice. And once again, something slammed into Glory's head, and then all was darkness. Hey! Something nosed Glory in her ribs, and she woke up with a small yellow faint. Are you awake? Tiny claws lifted Glory's eyelids, and something blurry came way too close to her snout to peer at her. Oomph! Glory said through the gag around her mouth. She tried to push this something away, but her talons felt heavy and she missed. Don't even try, said the little voice. I've spent my whole life waking up dragons who'd rather be sleeping instead of training me. I'm excellent at dodging when they all get mad about it. The tiny claws poked at her ruff. How come I don't know you? Glory said again. Her head hurt. She rested it back on the ground and blinked until the world came into focus. A small diamond-shaped snout hovered only a few inches from hers. Gigantic dark eyes peered out of gold and orange scales. The little dragonette couldn't have been more than 3 years old. She poked Glory's ruff again. Don't worry, I know you can't talk. I'm the only one without a gag. They decided my venom wasn't strong enough, or I couldn't shoot it far enough to be dangerous or something, I guess. Which is a little unfair because if somebody would just train me properly, I think I'd be super great at it, and then those horrible dragons would be super sorry for putting me in a cage. A ripple of scarlet fury moved through her wings. Glory reluctantly sat up so she could look around. The head in her pain flared viciously, and she had to close her eyes until it receded into a dull throb. When she opened them again, she realized that the blurriness around her wasn't just her eyes. The air was hazy with smoke. Pulsing heat wafted over her scales, although she couldn't see any sign of a fire. She glanced up and saw jagged stone walls pressing close overhead. It seemed like the heat was coming from the rocks themselves. Back in a cave, she thought. Awesome. The sack was gone, but the bindings around her wings and claws were still in place. Her mouth was still bound as well, but it felt different from before. Whatever clamped her snout shut now was much heavier than the earlier vines. She crossed her eyes, trying to get a look at it. It's a metal band, the little dragonette explained, tilting her head sympathetically. Like this one around my neck. It's to keep you from using venom. And it's also so we can't camouflage ourselves or disappear. And they'll always be able to see the metal band. She pointed at a thick, brassy clamp around her own neck. Smart but annoying, right? She paused. Kinda like me! My name's Kinkaju, by the way, in case you were wondering. So there's one of the missing rain wings, Glory thought. Where are the others? The small cave held only herself and the dragonette. A half moon of light glowed at the cave opening, not far away. Glory took a tentative step toward it, then another when nothing happened. Nothing fell from the roof. Nothing attacked her. No alarms went off. What sort of prison was this? Kinkaju followed her, still chattering. I know what you're thinking, she said. I'm super good at that. Especially nowadays when I'm the only one who can talk, so I have to imagine the other side of every conversation I have. Maybe telepathy is contagious or something? But anyway, you're thinking you can walk out of this cave, and trust me, you can. But you'll have to go see for yourself because everybody does, I guess, instead of listening to me. Glory reached the entrance and stopped. Kinkaju was right. There was no walking out this way. A wide, sluggish river of molten lava flowed past just outside the cave. It glowed gold and orange bright, the only splash of color in a barren black landscape. With her wings bound, Glory would never make it across. She leaned out to see where the lava river started. A halting dark mountain filled the sky, half hidden by the smoke pouring out at the top. Smaller rivulets of lava dappled the slope, and a red glow came from a few holes in the rocks. It was hard to tell whether it was day or night. The light was so strange, and the sky was swathed. What is it with all these weird words? The sky was swathed in dark clouds. Laurie guessed that she'd been knocked out for a few hours at least. The rotten egg smell was thick in the air. Sander's right, Kinkaju said in her ear, and Glory jumped. Who would actually want to live here? I don't get it. Who does live here? Glory wondered. The Talons of Peace? Is this where they hide? And then she realized the part of the landscape were moved. And then she realized that parts of the landscape were moving, and they weren't rocks after all. They were dragons. Black dragons with silver scales glittering under their wings. She could see at least 100 of them scattered across the mountain, and several more flying above it. She inhaled sharply and regretted it as sulfur filled her nose. I know where we are. This is the secret home of the Nightwings. End of chapter 20. So, the Nightwings. I kind of knew that already because I accidentally read the accidentally. I kind of read the backside, like, of the next two books to like get a handle on what's going to happen in each book, and so I kind of knew that way. But I didn't know how they kidnapped Rainwings or why. So we'll hopefully figure out somewhere in the book, because like we got this part left. It's not much. Let's see how many chapters there actually is in the book. There are 33 chapters. So 3 more streams and we'll hopefully have figured that out. So yeah. Damn. But wait. So, was that the Nightwing who captured her that was killing the Mudwings in the beginning? I mean, why do that? That makes no sense. He said he liked the food, the prey of the rainforest, which we saw with sloths. But why kill Mudwings? We're just patrolling. That makes no sense. I don't know if we'll figure if that will ever be explained. Some things won't be explained in a book and is left up to the imagination. And that's okay. She's an awesome writer, Sutherland. Though I wish she would not use all those weird words I've never seen before. But yeah, wow, we really plowed through those 5 chapters today. Now, to be fair, they weren't that long, I guess. I mean, they weren't that long. But yeah, I hope you all remember to drink water, stay hydrated, because I'm trying my best to do that. It's not going too well, but yeah. Oh, and I really am sorry for not streaming yesterday, like I said I would, but I could not get the file to open. I could not get the game to work for me on my computer. Fighting my mind. I'm really sad about that because I really wanted to play it. This time it wasn't even Twitch Studio that was something wrong with. It was the actual downloaded file itself. I don't know what went wrong. But tomorrow I will be streaming Side Quest again, because we didn't finish that off. But I will be finishing off tomorrow. And then just like chatting. You know, just chatting. Yeah. But yeah. Wednesday we will be continuing reading. Though it will be later, like an hour and a half later, because my older sister has like a meeting every Wednesday. From 7 p.m. to like 10 p.m. It's like meeting-ish thing, like a youth religion group we're in. I haven't been there for a while because of my depression, and I just couldn't do it. And also name change. I've been too afraid of what they're gonna think about it. Name change and pronoun change. Too afraid of what they're gonna think about that. It's like, we're religious people. No, we're not Catholics. We're Christians. Protestants. That kind of Christians. My sister and I are Baptists. My whole family are as well. Yeah. And like, we are 2 who are openly gay in the group, in the youth group, so. And like, they're cool with that. But I don't know how cool they'll be with name change and using different pronouns, because like I use they moon pronouns and rarely she her now, even though that's all I hear from my family. Like in the beginning they did try to use they them pronouns for me, but I think they've forgotten that I have stated that I rarely myself use she her pronouns anymore. Sorry, this took a whole another turn. But yeah, I will see you tomorrow. I don't think it'll be that long a stream actually, because we're at the end of the prologue of side quest. So it won't be that long a stream. So we'll see. But see you later. Bye bye.